Welcome to We Love Deck Builders, the podcast dedicated to empowering deck industry pros to construct a thriving business. Join your host, April Edwards, founder of Deck Builder Marketers, as she brings you a cheat sheet of industry secrets and strategies that promise to boost your deck building business. Whether you're a battle-tested pro or just starting your entrepreneurial journey, this podcast is your arsenal for expert insights and actionable advice. So tune in and let's carve a path to business growth, one insight at a time.
So welcome to our first episode of our DeckExpo podcast series. We're going to be talking about deck building, business growth, and what's happening across the industry. This is the very first one, as I mentioned. We're going to do a series of these over the next 2 weeks of folks that are speaking at DeckExpo or presenting in some way, having a booth, and really just want to reveal to you guys what y'all might be missing if you're not going. So I'm April Edwards, founder of Deck Builder Marketers, and we are the only digital marketing agency and growth partner that exclusively works with deck builders. We help builders grow their businesses with a steady flow of high quality leads and a stronger online presence to grow their business. And today I am kicking things off with the one and only Tony McKlem, owner of Hollywood Decks, known for his high-end custom projects and his passion for helping other builders grow. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, April. I am honored. I did not realize I was the first one on these series, but I will take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Awesome.
Grateful for the invitation. Thank you so much. Looking forward to this chat.
Cool. So we got to kick it off with a little intro for anybody who doesn't know you yet. What is Hollywood Decks all about?
Entonces, mi nombre es Tony. Hollywood Decks fue fundado aproximadamente hace 6 años. Oh, no, not in Spanish. Italian. What is Hollywood Decks about? So I am Tony. Hollywood Decks was founded approximately 6 years ago now when we moved from California to Florida. And the purpose behind that was to, in all honesty, was to get outside of the office world. So my background outside of Hollywood Decks and outside of construction was finance. And I sat behind a desk for many, many years. And I got sick and tired of it. I got sick of the suit, sick of the tie. Sick of the politics in the office. And so I had done some volunteer work and I had done some deck building out in Los Angeles. And I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. And so what happened was when we moved from Los Angeles out to Florida, I branched off of the partner that I had in Los Angeles and I came back and we had to start fresh from scratch. And I knew I wanted to stay building decks. I wanted to stay in the outdoor living space. And it was just a matter of coming up with a name. And we sat down, we toggled, and we went back and forth with several different names. And my wife said, Hollywood Decks. Sounds like a good name. I said, well, it does, but let me see if it's available. So a quick Google search and fictitious name. And it was available. Everything, the handle, the website, the YouTube, everything was absolutely available. So I was shocked that nobody had taken it yet. But the idea behind that is that I'm in fact born and raised and lived in the Hollywood area for many years. My dad worked at the Paramount Studios. I went to school there in the Hollywood area on Melrose. And so we've built decks on Hollywood Boulevard in several hotels, commercial, and some residential projects there in the Hollywood area. I have family in North and South Florida. And so we would travel back and forth, and that's how we ended up here in Florida. But I have family members down in South Florida, and I've actually built decks in Hollywood, Florida. There is a Hollywood, Florida. So building decks in Hollywood, California, in Hollywood, Florida, and just, Hollywood is home and where I'm from. And it was just an all-around fitting name. It has such a good presence to it, right? It has some weight to it. And Hollywood Decks has now been specializing in the high-end outdoor space building for 6 years here in Northeast Florida. We're fortunate to service Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, and if the project is right, we travel across state sometimes. So we've been part of some wonderful, wonderful projects with some wonderful sponsors and collaborators, and we're having a blast out here.
That's cool. Such a good, like, so much to unpack there as far as what your speaking session is at Deck Expo in your history. I'm really excited to connect those two pieces with the
Yeah.
audience. I will say, Hollywood, Florida is, if anybody loves to scuba dive, I'll be there the first week of every year scuba diving after, wait, hold on, not the first week of the year. I will be there in July, excuse me, March and July every year to scuba dive because I have the coaching group I belong to. We go down to Miami and then I meet up with a friend and go scuba diving. So, have you ever scuba dived or snorkeled in Hollywood?
Snorkeled, yeah. So we went to Catalina Islands off the Long Beach port.
Okay.
And so we've scuba dived. Have we done it here? I don't think we've done it here. We've done it in California. We've not done it here in Florida yet.
Yeah. In Hollywood, they have this really cool area where they put these sculptures under the water and it's really shallow. So you can actually snorkel and
Nice.
see all the sculptures. So, go over there.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, tell us about so you're leading sessions at Deck Expo. Um, the title is well, you're doing one topic, right? Efficient quotes and sales. Oh, and then social media in your toolbox. So
Yep.
you seem extremely qualified to do the quotes and sales based off of having a business, obviously. But tell us, I'm really curious to dive into like your experience with sales and what you were doing before.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. So we had a discussion, and then we also did some polls and surveys on our own. And those two always seem to be hot topics, right? Just sales and marketing, and or just yeah, sales and finance, and then marketing and social media. Um, and just the days and the times that we're living in, you have to kind of hold those up in par, right? So if you want to be a business owner, you being a business owner and just being able to build a beautiful, a deck or a home or swing a hammer, it's not enough anymore. Unfortunately, it's not enough. You have to be able to leverage all these different categories now. And so specifically when it comes to sales, um, going back into my finance world, headspace, I'm fortunate that I learned the administrative and the business side of this beforehand. And I did that for almost a dozen years back in California, and that allowed me to learn some of the things that I've now applied that have now allowed me to be successful in the business that I'm doing now. But ultimately the idea is that you got to have a procedure in place to be able to maintain sales on a recurring cycle, right? You can't they are right, they peak and they drop and they come up and they're so volatile, but you have to find your sweet spot. You have to find your niche, and you have to know not only your productivity, but also your lead times. You have to know your team. You have to know your schedule and your limits so that you can have an efficient sales pipeline. And we've been fortunate to have a good, consistent team. And ultimately, our goal is to say, don't overwhelm yourself, right? Don't overburden yourself. And I say this many, many times, I enjoy what I do. And at no point in time do I want this to become a headache. And I don't want to lose this flavor of what we do. Hence, when we look for projects, I'll give you an example of what that means, because that might mean a whole lot of nothing to a whole lot of people, but I'll give you an example of what that means. Yes, can you book one $5,000 job a week? Absolutely. You are then running week after week after week after week to complete a $5,000 job. Why? Because there are folks out there willing to pay $5,000 for a deck. Absolutely. Right? Can you pivot and shift to try to book a $20,000 job a month? It's kind of the same thing, kind of not, right? Because more than likely the $20,000 job is going to be a little more complex. It's going to take a little more time and planning to do, but you're now looking and working towards the bigger numbers. You're not looking for the $5,000 job. You're looking for the $20,000 job. And the more comfortable you get speaking and telling clients, this is going to cost you 20 grand, well, the more comfortable you get saying this is going to be 30 grand. 40 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, right? I remember getting a knot in my neck the first time I told the client this is going to be $100,000 project, right? Just your guts are just kind of turning on the inside. So that's a callus, right? So for those builders that are in here, that's a callus you have to grow. Being able to say your project is going to be 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not. I understand it, right? But you got to work your way up, because at some point, 5,000, chasing 5,000 every week, you're working late hours. You're not coming home. Sometimes you're working weekends. Sometimes, you miscalculated and those 5,000 are now not enough. And you're carrying that project to the next project. And now you're having to take out of your pocket to cover the material for this last project, right? So you have to find that niche, and you have to get comfortable with that process. And sales will absolutely make you or break you. And it is unfortunate when I hear from different builders and we have these conversations where amazing builders, absolutely amazing builder, and I've said this many, many times myself, there are 1,001 better builders than I am. No question about it. But if you don't know sales and you're not consistent, those builders get lost. And that is a shame. That is an absolute shame. So we want to be able to explain, how do you turn a quick quote? You shouldn't be, I know folks that go back home and they're spending 24, 48, 3-4 days on quotes. There's no reason, guys. There's no reason why you should spending a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days trying to propose a quote, like trying to prepare a quote for the client. You've already wasted so much time. Right. And we get it. Sometimes it's nice to be thorough, right? And you want to stand out and you want to make your presentation a trifold with colors and examples and specifics. I get it. Absolutely. I get it. But ultimately what the client wants to see when they're asking for a quote is what? Price. The number.
Yeah.
What's the number? How much is this going to cost?
Can I afford this?
That's it.
And are you too expensive?
Right? Yeah. So just give me the number. And sometimes we spend so much time preparing our quotes to be like, I'm using joist tape, and this pressure treat is going to have this amount of copper, and this decking, it's going to have, 2.5-inch screws, not 3-inch screws. Don't, because more than not, and correct me if I'm wrong, but according to the conversations I've had with most, it is absolutely wasted time when you prepared 3 pages of a quote, submitted it just for the client to say, yeah.
Because what do you think the first thing they're going to do when they get that 3-5 page?
They're going to scroll to look for the number.
So you spend all this time.
What's the final number? What's the check I'm going to pay?
And I would say with so many deck builders that I talk to, like, you're so close to the project, you're so close to the materials and all of these things, you care so much, you put all of this effort into like line itemizing that. And at the end of the day, I'll always say that we live in a attention era, and you do not have that much time to engage with people, and they just want something fast. I'll say as a consumer, when somebody takes a long time to get back to me on price, I feel that they're inexperienced and they're not confident in what they're doing in order to give me something quickly. So that could be subjective, but
and like I said, I can't necessarily say, hey, this is my system, this is what I ask, this is my script. I can't say that that's going to work for everybody. I can't. And that's why I come back and emphasize, you have to find your niche, right? Your clients. Every region, every area is different. Every product is different. Every lead time and supplier are different. You have to know. One example, on the West Coast, the biggest thing we actually had to adjust from building in the West Coast to building on the East Coast is, in fact, budget. There is not LA money, right? We're in Northeast Florida. There is not LA, California money out here, right? People out there, the last deck I built in Los Angeles was $250,000. A client at a beautiful home in Los Feliz area, right? Yeah. How much? $250,000 for a deck? Yeah, let's go for it, right? That's how much a house costs here in Northeast Florida.
Hmm.
Nobody's going to pay $250,000 for a deck out in Northeast Florida, right?
Yeah.
So you have to know your clients, you have to know your area and your niche for you to be able to adjust accordingly.
Yeah, and I'd like to ask you too. I mean, my assumption is it takes the same amount of work to bring in that lead that is going to be $100,000 versus $10,000. Before I say anything else, I mean, would you agree? Do you think that apart from having really good branding and positioning, it's kind of the equal amount of work from a marketing perspective? Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the leads come and go. And specifically, I think in this service industry, the way you process and handle leads, it's not the same as if you were like in a call center, right? Or if you were in finance or something else. A lead means something different when you're in the service industry or versus, you're just in another industry. There's a question I think here from YouTube.
Yeah.
Is that
Yep.
a
Yep.
question from Bobby Warren? You want to read that?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of around
Sure.
the
Yeah.
same topic.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of, I think this will be really helpful. So, Bobby, thank you so much for asking this. Speaking of the business side, what advice do you have for small deck building companies that find it difficult to handle leads and follow up when trying to build decks on a daily basis? So, I think this
Yeah,
is wearing multiple hats, hat syndrome.
absolutely. I'll tell you the first thing, and I'll say it because that was me. I did it, and I'm sure we all did it when we started. Is chasing every carrot that daggles in front of you, right? So at some point in time, we were getting right 1, 2, 3 leads a day, right, and we're like, all right, we're booking, we're selling. And what happens is that sometimes we spend a day driving to those 1, 2, 3 leads, right? And is it realistic to say you're going to book 100% of leads that you drive out to and that you engage with? No, no. And you think you're going to be able to go out and try to get some compensation for showing up to quote a deck, right? That's a whole separate conversation. Sorry, but for those that think they're gonna follow up on leads and be like, hey, it's $100 for me to come out and talk to you about your deck. It's a thin balance where you have to know your clientele and your lead type. For us, after those first few months of driving around, right, to all the leads and being like, this was a bummer, right? Like, what? I showed up here to find out like their budget is a third of what it actually costs. Like their budget is not even going to cover material, right? And so ultimately, when you get leads, you have to have a screening process. You have to pre-qualify and review that those clients are in fact the clients you want to work with. And what does that mean? It can be very, very simple. It means when if they submit an inquiry online, you have a basic 5 questions that you want to ask that are going to tell you whether or not you're interested in the project. So it can be immediately when they inquire on your website, just ask 5 questions on there. And those 5 questions are going to give you some general information that'll tell you whether you want to pursue this lead or not. If you can't do that, and if it's too complicated, all right, you have a lead, you have their phone number, give them a call. You ask the same 5 questions to find out if that's a lead you want to pursue or not. And it is okay, guys. It is absolutely okay to say, ma'am, it sounds like you have a wonderful project ahead of you. However, I don't think I'm the best fit for your project. I wish you the best, right? If you ever are able to come up with a different budget, or perhaps if you are in the area, or perhaps if you are interested in this specific material, feel free to give me a call back and we'd be glad to help you. We wish you the best. It is okay to turn down leads, guys. It's
Hmm.
okay. They're going to be okay. Your business is not going to get burnt out and 0-star reviews on Google, right?
Yeah.
So screen them, whether that's your website, whether that's a call. You have to screen them before you go out. Do not go out in person without screening those clients. Why? I assure you, they've screened you. They've done a little bit of research and they have found out who you are in comparison to other builders in the area. So you have to make sure you do your due diligence. And I'll give you an example of what those 5 things are. Number 1, where is it located? You got to know where this project is located, unless you're willing to drive 2-3 hours away from your home, right? And add traffic both ways, and you just want to waste some gas. Where is this project located? That is a very important question for us. Yeah. Number 2 is if this is a full build or a renovation or a repair. Why? We don't do repairs and renovations. So if you want us to go out there, oh, I have a deck board that's rotting. Can you take off this deck board and put a new one down? We don't do that. Oh, one joist is sagging. Can you go out and go down there and repair it? No. So area, what is in fact the general overview of the project? Budget. Yes. What is your budget? And typically we handle this one of 2 ways. And it always goes another way. Typically we'll ask, what's your budget? And they'll say, well, I'm not sure yet. Okay, here's what we can do. You give me everything you've seen to your little heart's content, everything you've dreamed of, everything you've seen on Pinterest, everything you've Googled, absolutely everything you want on your outdoor space. Give it to me. Go for it. And then I'll give you what the cost is going to be. And more than likely, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, no. All right. Well, at that point, your homework is you're going to have to remove and delete what you can't afford. So now that I've given you your entire dream, Levi, what's up, brother? Right? Now you're going to have the decision to make, what can you get rid of? Right? Mm-hmm. What's more important to you and priority to you? Or you could have just given me your budget and I could have told you what we could have built within your budget. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So if your budget was for a third of what we proposed, hey, here's the size and here's what we can add. No, you can't include that cabana and that built-in kitchen and, a 5,000 square foot deck. But hey, we can build you a 500 square foot deck, right? With maybe a little swing, maybe a little built-in bench, maybe a little planter. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. We can phase it out. Let's start with phase 1. We'll save a little bit. We'll see you next year, phase 2. That's okay. Right? So budget, absolutely important. 4th is timeline. When do you need this done? Right? And interestingly enough, for the most part, when you ask that question, some of them are going to be like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know when. And some are going to be like, well, yesterday, because I'm hosting my daughter's wedding tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And my daughter needs to have somewhere to get married at. And we want to host and have a party. So, can you build this like tomorrow? Yeah, mm-hmm. No, right? We're not going to drop everything tomorrow. Why? Because then we're going to go back and there is going to be an additional cost if you want us to drop our entire schedule, right? Which brings us back to budget. And yeah, that's going to be another factor. But schedule, you have to have your schedule in mind, again, to not overwhelm yourself. Don't overwhelm your team. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't do that to yourself, because you're just going to set yourself up, right? And you're never going to fully please folks. And then last, the ultimate one is just products and lead time. What do they want, right? What's the complexity in the design of it? Because what products and the design of this project are also going to affect whether you are able to put it together in that timeline and have your materials at hand. Because sometimes, depending on the product and design, a curved deck, it might be 500 square feet, but a curved small deck is still going to take you much more time than if it's just a little squared, right? A little squared one, you can knock it out in 2 days. A curved one, it's not going to be 2 days. It's going to take a little more time. So the products and the design of the deck are also very important. We have taken on projects that are below our threshold for a budget, but we've taken them on because we like the design, because they're going to be small. And typically what happens for us is the smaller decks are more intricate and detailed design. And the clients, because they have a smaller space, they want their decks to pop. And we really enjoy that. We're really like when these smaller decks come in and make a presence and make a statement. So we absolutely look into those 5 things. And once we see all those and we say, hey, look, these match, let's give this client a call and let's dig in a little more. If they don't match, we wish you the best. That's it.
That's being helpful. And I would say that, going back to this attention era that we live in, or ADD era, or whatever, everybody's so busy. Like, that's respectful. You're not wasting their time either. And for them to have to coordinate having somebody at their home, if you don't do that pre-screening and you just go out to their house, that's a big waste of their time if it turns out that they just didn't know what they didn't know and they can't afford it, So I would say being consultative, and not being afraid to talk numbers, right? And in the beginning is respectful, and it creates a good experience, and it shows that you are confident and you know what you're doing.
Yeah. And, but budget is big. Budget, we try to hit budget the first time we speak with them. I mean, even if it's over the phone, we give them a range, a ballpark, just so they know, right? And that way, when we give them that ballpark number and they're like, yeah, okay, that's kind of what I figured. Great. Let's go out. Let's take you some sample. Let's take some measurements. Let's give you some renderings. Let's get to the next step in the project. And here's what that's done for us to wrap up this section and go on to the next. Us screening our projects and being so thorough with our leads, right? You know that rule of, if you're closing 10 to 20% of your leads, right? That's great. That's a standard ratio. Yeah, sure. If you're chasing every single one of your leads that you're getting and you're closing 20%, yeah, sure, that's standard. Whereas versus we've screened them so well, and because we're not chasing every single one of our leads, we're closing 90 to 100% of our leads. Why? Because we're only chasing the ones we're interested in. And odds are, if we're chasing that project and that lead, we're closing that lead, right? So yes, we're not following all 30 of our leads that we get in a week, but we're closing the 5 that we are going after.
Yeah.
That's one, right? Glass is half full.
Take it from Tony. Is that your tagline? Did I just come up with that? Take it from Tony?
Take it from Tony? I don't know. Maybe we'll put that on a shirt.
I don't know. I feel like maybe we're jamming here, and that makes sense. I feel like that has to have come from somewhere. But
take
anyway,
it from Tony. Maybe I'll pitch it.
Straight from the We Love Deck Builders podcast. Take it from Tony.
Yeah. So that chat's gonna be very exciting, very interesting. Ultimately the idea is that we can have a good conversation there at the DeckExpo and have some takeaways then and there that you can go back home and apply.
Okay, so
travel back.
So for anybody that is joining in live, do you think going to see Tony at DeckExpo for this one topic is going to be super valuable? Because first of all, I just want to say thank you. I think that you've dropped some really juicy nuggets that people can apply now. So you've been through the experience, you know what works, you're giving the advice. And so anybody that's listening, like, roll with this, be fast to implement, take these ideas and test them out too, right?
Yeah.
So, look at this. I don't know who this is. Say your name, 13 Al. Do you know who that is? 13 Al?
No, I don't know, but he wants the merch. Okay. Take it from Tony.
He's gonna buy the merch. We're making
True Work shirts
here.
Coming out soon.
Okay, let's move forward, because everybody, I'm going to tell you, we do full service digital marketing. We set up a whole marketing engine system for our deck builders, and social media is just one component of it. But I would venture to say that a lot of people that I talk to think that marketing is only social media. So let me know your thoughts on that. And then, of course, we are all really interested to know what to expect at your talk.
So I'll start off by saying I don't do social media at a personal level. I never have. I think life and marriage is difficult enough without throwing social media in the mix. So I was just never a fan of having social media at a personal level. With that being said, one of my office gals, the first year we moved here to Florida and we were establishing Hollywood Decks, one of my office gals, Carla, said, you got to do it. You have to do it. It is free marketing. It allows you to connect with your audience. It allows you to show your work, right? It becomes this like portable bank where you're able to showcase what you do. And so the first year we were here, she pushed it and she said, let's build it. Let's get social media set up. I was like, all right. Right. And so obviously we started, as many others did, right? The before and after pictures, maybe a little, pen video of what our work is. And after a few months, she also came back and she said, hey, you gotta show face. I was like, what does that mean? She goes, well, you got to talk to the camera. She goes, they don't just want to see the work. They want to see you. They want to hear from you. They want you to connect with them. They want to meet you and explain how you're getting all this done. So a few months after we set up, I think almost about a year of just a whole lot of pictures and before and after, we started talking to the camera, just showing a little face, like, here's the process, right? And ultimately what she said was, because I was like, what do I say? I was like, I don't, and to the day I say it all the time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing on here, but we're having a blast. But we love what we do, and we love bragging about it, and we love just showing people what we do. So she said, because you've been doing it for so long, to you it's repetition. To you it's common knowledge and standard. But to others, it's something new. It's not repetition. It's something that they love to learn. It's something that they would love to pick up on and maybe apply themselves. And so she started encouraging us, right? Carla started telling us, start posting videos on there of how you build it, and explain and talk to the people. And that's when it took off. When we started showing face, when I started making videos explaining, it absolutely became so much more engaged and involved. And you not only, and this is the neat thing, and this is the impressive thing about social media, you not only connect with the community and the circle around your area, but you now have access to builders and to the entire industry from social media. You are now connecting with folks in the entire world, across states, across country, with social media, right? And so it has just been an absolute surreal opportunity for us to share what we do and connect with who we've connected, all because of social media.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing tool. You have to, it's a resource like anything else. You have to be careful with it, right? Like anything else, right? You get what you put in, but you have to utilize it. At this day and age, you have to utilize it. Social media works. John Witt said it.
Yeah. Yeah, but how do you? A couple of tips that you've given are, don't hide behind your work. Is what I would say, because I mean, even our our clients that are the most successful with their website and landing page and their ads are the ones that have a nice brand video and are showcasing their team and their culture and things like this, because it sets you apart. And I mean, I hate to say it, guys, but like, sometimes a lot of your work kind of looks the same to the homeowners. Everyone's going to kill me for saying that, but it is the truth. And so this is how you differentiate yourself. And in a world where everybody wants to read your journal, right? That's to me
Yeah.
like a lot of what like personal social media is. This is authenticity, being authentic at its core. And the thing is good marketing should help instill trust before people even engage. Like, people want to know that you're the right fit before they even pick up the phone or hit you up, because they don't want to be sold to. You know what I mean? And this is
Absolutely.
a great way for you to do that. And for our listeners, definitely go to our YouTube channel or HollywoodDecks.com. Your Instagram handle is HollywoodDecks.com as well, right? I think
Yep.
I've got
And
it here.
then,
Yep.
yeah, YouTube, Facebook,
Hmm.
everything's Hollywood
Yep.
Decks.
So check out what he's doing, and I recommend that you look at the ones that have the most engagement. I mean, I'm rolling over some things here. You can see we've got 3 tips to cut, your boards, 176 likes, and I did see maybe some sort of community service, something he did up here too. But check out what posts are performing the best, and then I guess I'll stop it there. We don't want to give away all of the juicy nuggets. Is there anything else you want to say? By the way, social media in your toolbox is what he'll be speaking about on Thursday, October 23rd at 1 p.m. In space 3454 at DeckExpo. So, anything else you want to say on that?
Yeah, I'll give you one last tidbit, which I've emphasized also before when it comes to social media. Don't go spend $1,000 on a camera. Don't go spend $200 on microphones. Do not go spend money on a photographer and videographer on your project site. Do not. That is not what I am telling you, and please do not do it. Here's what I am saying. All of you have this old Android or iPhone thrown in a drawer somewhere in your bedroom or in your living room. Go dust off that old Android. Go dust off that old iPhone. Find you a simple little tripod. Slap the phone on there and just hit the red button. That's it. That is all you need to do. Pull out an old phone, put it on a tripod, and hit record. There are folks on there that are at the point that are very elaborate and are able to have videographers and full-time cats on their project site. Absolutely applaud them. Great for them. Me, myself, and little I, no, we're not there yet. And for the most of our builders that are out here, we're not at that level. Do not spend money. That's going to go into a whole other ballgame. But do not spend money, right, just where you don't need to. And definitely making content does not have to be costly. So if you want to get started, if you haven't gotten started, or you just don't know what to do, get a little tripod, get an old phone, hit the red button and work. It shouldn't take you more than 2-3 minutes to set up that phone. Literally just center it, step back, center it, get to work. It shouldn't be timely. It shouldn't be costly. And then all you got to do is upload it, right? Put some music. If you want to do a voiceover and explain what you're doing, but that's it. That is a great way to get started and see where it goes. As you said, right, find something that makes you different, because everybody, right, again, there's 1,001 deck builders. There's a lot of cats out here that are building decks. What makes you different? Write it out, right? Make sure that you stand out. Whether that's you as a person, maybe that's your mission, maybe it's the way you build, maybe it's the methods you build, but find your niche and write it out. And social media is just a part of life nowadays. It is part of business. If you want to be able to grow and stay consistent in business, and there's no way around it, you have to have social media in your toolbox.
So I write for the Deck Specialist magazine in a column called "Market Yourself," and I end each one. I end each one of my columns with keep moving forward. And so my advice to back up what you're saying is, don't overthink it. I think everybody wants, like, they're scared to do it because well, the first thing is, a lot of deck builders I talk to are super humble, and they're like, I don't want to be on camera. Like, that's not what I'm all about. It's all about building decks. Well, I understand, but this is how you connect with people. And if you're going to sit here and say, oh, like, my hair doesn't look good, or I'm on a podcast right now, I don't even have makeup on, I don't even know who I am. But it's like, as a woman, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm at the doctor's office right now. I'm like, well, it's more important that we do this than for everything to be perfect. And so if you wait and you have all these reasons why, you're not moving forward, and guess what? I'm sorry, one more thing, but would you agree that, well, at least this is what I tell people. I'm like, you're going to suck when you do it at first. But if you don't look back 6 months from where you are now and not feel embarrassed or whatever from that, you're not growing.
No. To back up what you just said, every Saturday and Sunday, so we've made it a point. Every Saturday and Sunday morning, we post bloopers. Every Saturday and Sunday, because throughout the week, odds are we have tons of bloopers, right? And we don't even post all the bloopers we have. But odds are you're going to mess something up. You're going to be funky, right? Work is going to go wrong. That's okay, right? We're all just imperfect, right? We're all on our hands and knees. We're all in the same boat. It's okay. It's not pristine. I'm not, Lord knows, I'm no, athlete fit, influencer out here. I don't care to have everything look specific and perfect. We're builders out here. We're having a blast. We're outdoors. And so we try to share every weekend on our stories, just bloopers, and it's a blast, right? And it's a good way to show folks, our clients and our followers, we mess up more than we like to admit, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that you're real people, and I think that's what's important. So Anyway, this has been amazing. I think you're going to have so many great things to talk about at Deck Expo. I also want to say, if you're listening and you want a free pass, you can use code invite 1645 and secure your own spot for free. At Deck Expo. So check that out. And I did want to say this too. I'm going to post the link. It's kind of long. I'm sure we have a different link that's easier. But in our Growth Hub, which is our resources section on deckbuildermarketers.com, we have the Deck Builder Brand Strategy Starter Kit. And so that's a free resource that we have for people. And that's a really good kit and place to start to help you identify and work out what your brand strategy is and what does that mean. Like how are you different, like how do you communicate your differences, what's the messaging and tone you're trying to get across. And I will also leave it with this with social media. I mean, it's about connecting with people. I mean, at the end of
Absolutely.
the day, like you're trying to connect with your ideal customer and show them what you're all about and nurture them until they're ready to rock and roll with you.
Yeah. So I'll back up what you had back. Yeah, hardest step is always the toughest. Um, going to the Deck Expo, right? Why go to the Deck Expo? Why look at the resources that deck builder marketers have? I'll tell you why. As I mentioned a minute ago, it's not enough for you to be able to swing a hammer, for you to be able to build something, right? Unfortunately, great builders are not administrators, right? They're not good at business. And nowadays, there are wonderful deck builders and companies that have gone out of business because they don't know how to manage sales
Hmm.
and finances and growth and staff. And you have to be able to balance those. You being able to swing a hammer is just not enough nowadays. So
Hmm.
use all the resources, right? Over at the Deck Expo, the ideas that, in formal markets are the wonderful administrators behind the show. They want to be able to put these resources under one roof for you, right? And create this concentrated group of builders and folks that are alike. And the idea is that at the Deck Expo, you can network and you can meet these different brands and builders and create these relationships to collaborate and to grow, right? So I know it's difficult for some, and I know it is an investment of time and money for you to go out to the Deck Expo. April's got your free pass, so that's one thing
Hmm.
down. But you got to make that effort to invest in yourself to be able to learn and grow the business as a whole. You're a great builder, and I'm glad you're doing that. But you have to learn the administrative side of things nowadays to be able to be in this marathon. It's not a
Hmm.
sprint. This business game is a long run.
Hmm. Yep, that's so good. And it's like microphone drop. Like you just gave us a bunch of juicy nuggets. I'm pumped to go see you talk. Can't wait to see you there. I did want to just throw this out here. If you are local to the Southern California area, I just helped curate Nadra's first ever SoCal regional event. Make sure that you check out the recap. There's a really cool video to see what you missed out on, and then follow Nadra, join their email list. You don't have to be a member to join their email list, and then you'll be able to see when we have another event coming. But I think that if you really take your business seriously, coming to these events adds intangible value. And I think everybody wants to put a dollar in and immediately see a dollar out, but you have to understand how these things really help grow your business, your confidence, your mindset, and give you the tools and the people that are going to help move your business forward.
Absolutely, April. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Looking forward to seeing y'all out in at the Deck Expo. And we have to help each other out. I think
Mhm.
throughout all these difficult times and challenges, we should all just be able to lend a hand and help each other out. So if there's any questions or concerns, even past this, feel free to reach out. I try to stay engaged in my DMs as best possible. But if there's any question or concern, I'd be glad to help out. Uh, we do speak Spanish, so for those of you that are also maybe in here and wanting to learn, we are going to try to give some content in Spanish too over at Deck Expo. But absolutely, there is so much work to be done. We just have to try to keep up with it.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely a new era. I will say we have a whole article on our website about AI disruption, and how that has really impacted consumer behavior and the way that they purchase and interact with brands. So lots to talk about there. I'll be speaking there. I did not even do my own plug, but that's okay. We'll keep it about Tony. Go to Deck Expo,
Neat.
and you can see. I'll be moderating a panel I'll be on the panel this year with Deck Specialist magazine, and then I'll be doing my own speaking event on marketing. This is Tony's handle, Hollywood Decks, and we did have a couple more comments. So Bobby Warren said, "Amen to John." John Witt said, "The hardest step is always the first." And then it looks like you might have another question. So Bobby said, "I want to know if Tony does leadership development talks because you have a lot to offer."
Thanks for the question. I do not. I am always glad, and those builders that know me, I am always glad to get on the phone. If there's anything, I am blessed and fortunate to be where I am, and I have absolutely received a lot from a lot of cats that I've been able to call on the dime, and they'll pick up, and it's just, here's a quick question, right? Can you give me a hand? And so, being grateful for all the help I've received, the bare minimum I can do is pass it down. So if there's ever any question, again, as I just said, feel free to DM me, feel free to reach on out, and I'd be glad to explain or try to give you guys a hand from whatever I've learned.
Unreal. I love it. Absolutely. Startwood. Hold on. I can't read, I swear. Startwood Wright said amen as well. So I think that's a great way to close this.
Hallelujah.
Tony, thanks so much for sharing your insights. I know that builders are going to walk away from your sessions with amazing insights. And the thing is, if you go and you learn these things, apply them.
Yeah.
You need to take action. Don't just fill your cup with learning things and getting overwhelmed. Like, move forward and know that you might fail, but you need to do that in order to grow and learn sometimes too. Not saying that you're going to fail, but I'm trying to be realistic and really motivate everybody. Yeah. So for everyone listening, don't miss Tony at DeckExpo for efficient quotes and sales, and then social media in your toolbox. You're going to leave inspired and ready to put those ideas to work. Tony, it has been incredible working with you today.
Pleasure. Yep.
Yeah. First episode of our DeckExpo series. And Tony, can't wait to see you there. So hopefully I'll be able to sit in on your sessions and learn some things from you, and maybe be able to apply it to all of our deck builder clients across the country. So thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time, April. You have a good afternoon.
Hey, deck building community. Enjoyed the show? Hit subscribe and give us your thoughts. We love hearing from you. Ready to level up your business? Visit deckbuildermarketers.com. Check out our services and let's build your success together. Don't forget to download our free guides. They're a game changer. Thanks for tuning in to We Love Deck Builders, and see you on the next episode.